Before Gutenberg, the wild origins of printing. Once upon a time, long before Gutenberg pressed his first page, people were already obsessed with stamping, carving, and pressing symbols into clay and paper. Printing, in one form or another, is ancient. Let's rewind to around 3000 BC, to the cradle of civilization, Mesopotamia. Here, clever Sumerians, Assyrians, and Babylonians used seals and tiny stamp rollers to mark clay tablets. These little cylinder seals were like prehistoric logos, everyone who was anyone had one. And Europe wasn't far behind in the creativity game. Around 1600 BC, on the island of Crete, someone made the mysterious Phaistos disc, a clay disc stamped with strange hieroglyphs. Each symbol was pressed in with a unique stamp, like an ancient emoji code. To this day, no one knows exactly what it says. Maybe it's a prayer. Maybe a recipe. Or maybe the world's first spam message. Meanwhile, in China, things were getting really innovative. By the 9th century, they were already printing entire texts using carved wooden blocks. And by the 11th century, they even had movable type. In Europe, one of the earliest examples of stamping text comes from a monastery in Prüfening, Germany. It's from the year 1119, and it's literally a clay plaque with the text pressed and using wooden letter stamps. Imagine monks stamping out a church dedication like it's a divine arts and crafts project. But fun fact, that genius idea didn't actually make its way to Europe. Nope, when it came to printing, East and West developed along totally separate paths. Europe, however, did no woodcuts. Carving images into wooden blocks, inking them, and pressing them onto paper. At first, these were mainly religious pictures, known as holy prints. The oldest surviving one is the Brussels Madonna, made in 1418. But soon, artists got clever, they added text to their images. These combined woodcut images and words became block prints, and when you bound a bunch of those pages together, voila, you got a block book. How did it work? Well, the entire page, both the image and the text, was carved in reverse into a wooden board. Ink it up, press it on paper, and you've got a page. It was art and literacy in one swipe. By the first half of the 15th century, block printing was used to produce not just holy images, but also schoolbooks. One of the most popular was the Latin grammar by Aelius Donatus, used all through the Middle Ages. These little books became so famous that people just called them Donatuses. Another bestseller? The Biblia Pauperum, the Bible of the Poor, picture books with short biblical texts for teaching and devotion. Around the same time, metal engraving appeared, a sort of early printing experiment. The simplest form was called Schrodt print, where the main outlines were etched into a metal plate, and the details were drawn in later by hand. This technique was even used for making playing cards as early as the 13th century. Sadly, none survived. Probably worn out by too many medieval poker nights. By the 1400s, metal engraving was all the rage in Germany, and later in France, too. But there was a big catch: whether you carved your text into wood or metal, once it was done, that was it. You couldn't reuse the blocks. Want to print another text? Start carving again. By hand. From scratch. So while these methods were beautiful, they weren't exactly efficient. Books were still mostly copied by hand. That's why everything changed when someone had a revolutionary idea. What if the letters could move? Movable type, letters that could be rearranged, reused, and combined to print any text, would change the world forever. And that, dear viewer, is where our hero enters, Johannes Gutenberg. But that's a story for the next chapter.